Hi friends, it's Joan at 10 Pentacles Tarot, and today we're in the art room and we're going to do some hands-on making. Now, our subject matter for the day is scrying, and when most of you think of scrying, you think of people looking in crystal balls, people looking in mirrors, and maybe in water. And those are all ways of scrying, but what if you are one of those people who looks at the wallpaper and you see faces and you see animals and you see different things? Or if you look at the wood grain on the floor or the door, what if you are looking at the carpet and you're seeing pictures? That is scrying too, and that's the kind of scrying we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to be making some tools for scrying this way. And my inspiration comes from a YouTube channel. Well, there are two YouTube channels. The first one is Witch and Scythe, and I will put the names of these channels in the description box. And the person on that uses scrolls, which are actually made by the person on another channel called iScry with Steph, and I'll put that also in the description box. So Steph makes these scrolls, and I thought they were so cool, and I'm totally giving her credit, and also the Witch and Scythe channel, because they're the ones that got me all excited about this. So you definitely need to check them out. And so I got this book, Scrying For Beginners, Donald Tyson, and he talks about all kinds of different scrying, which let's see, he talks about the Ouija board, aura scrying, psychometry, dowsing, automatic writing, automatic speaking, water scrying, scrying in oil, crystal scrying, mirror scrying, the pendulum, all of these things. So today we're going to talk about scroll scrying, and actually it is time for me to do the zodiac tarot readings that I do every month. They're timeless, but let me tell you what, I needed to do something fun. You guys needed something fun. Everything's been kind of same for a while, so here's a different thing for you. So what materials do you need to make these cool scrying scrolls, which I don't have any made? You're going to watch me make them for the first time. I got this, well, I didn't buy it, I had it in my house, the Hyper Tough 6x9 foot canvas drop cloth. It's from Walmart, and I know it was fairly cheap. I use these for painting school sets, and you know the kids always need something to stand on. So this is what I have. I'm not going to open this one because this is new, but I did have some, and I cut it into some pieces that I thought would be conducive or helpful for what we're doing. So I have some pieces that are like 4.5 by 6. You can make any size you want. These would be more of a tarot card size, which I thought was cool. These pieces are 9 by 6 by 9. These. And these pieces are 9 by 12. Yep. 9 by 12. Okay, so we have those, and we're going to start with those. But you can also make these scrolls in a cheap notebook. You don't want the paper to be super thin. We'll see how this works. This is very thin, and it might crinkle it. So, yeah, we might not find that to be the best solution, but that's a thing you could do just to try it out. And then there's something like a sketchbook here. And I had sort of an experience with something similar to this when I was doing watercolor blotches and then turning them into something. Like I would see something in there. So that was fun too. It's not scrying, but it was still fun. And so it's on the same idea. But anyway, here's some that I didn't really, I haven't done anything with. But that's kind of not, that's a different thing. Okay, so I've got my fabric here. I've got my paper towels. I've got fabric scissors, which I needed to cut them. Got my ruler, which I probably won't need now. And then I pulled out some acrylic paints. This is just apple barrel craft paints. You guys, I'm so sorry about the light in here. Let me see if I can move this light and make it better. Ugh. I never well, I can't say I never do, but I don't usually do videos in this room unless they're for my dollhouse channel, which is called Joan's Mini Homes, if you're interested in that. Anyway, but Okay, well that's a little better, isn't it? Okay, so I got my apple barrel craft paints. You can use any kind. These are the cheap kind from Walmart. There's a lot of Walmart here today. I got some bamboo skewers here. And you can buy actually ink, good ink for this, for the paper ones. I have these inks that are left over from my printer that went defunct. And I can see this magenta and the yellow are leaking, so I probably won't use those. But we'll use those with the paper. All right, so here we go. So what you do is you take your little piece of cloth here. Let me do it where we can see. Okay, you take your little piece of cloth and you make some designs on both sides. And I'm going to use the black because that's very inkish and will look like, and this kind of reminds me of the Rorschach ink blot test where they tell like how you are mentally by what you see in the ink blots, okay? Well, here you go. All right, so I've got my bamboo skewer, my bamboo skewers. What would really be good for this if you have it is what am I trying to say? Oh, a eyedropper. At least it probably wouldn't work for this, but it would work, I think, very nicely for the inks. Oh, I got my. All right, so we're gonna make some designs, and sometimes on iScry with Steph, sometimes she actually writes words depending on what the subject matter of her reading is, and so on. But I'm just going to do whatever feels natural here, which is kind of awkward. I think I'm going to need the, eyedroppers, but this paint's too thick. So we're just playing here, just enjoy the show. Oh, enjoy the show. And then after you get all your designs on there, let's put some green on there too, because I just have an urge. Even though I didn't say we were going to do that. Okay, so let's make some green. Oh, look, okay, this is nice. And then let's do a little bit of red. All right, so I'll just do a couple little red dots. Okay, and then once you have stuff on there, however you want it, then you're going to take your cloth or your paper, whatever you're using, and you're going to fold it in half and mush it together, okay? Now, you see this is coming through, right through the cloth, so that's going to need some time to dry. And let's see, and this, wow, and that's what we've got. So then you'll scry with that. Now, I'm not going to do the scrying in this video. I am going to do the making of the scrolls, and then I will do a video on actually scrying with these, which I think is so cool. So I'm going to set up a place for these to dry. Okay, I've got my, and this is messy, so if you are a neat person, you may want to wear some gloves. I'm going to get one of my things here and put these on. Okay, so hopefully my dog doesn't come and run in with them, but I guess dog paws would be another way of doing it, right? So you could like make a whole set of these and then they'd be like an oracle deck, right? Okay, so let's do some more here. And you know what? I think I'm going to put the lid back on this because that squirting it out worked really well. Okay, so you can, if I'm not holding this, I'm trying to hold this forward. This is an odd setup. My camera is kind of funky here. Okay. All right, so let's do this. So let's do and you can put it all over it because your sides will just whatever you feel like doing. That's going to be a thick one. I can tell you that right now. So this isn't the best paint. So you want to get the real liquidy kind that you can hear slooshing around, okay? And you know what? I think we want white. Let me grab white because I noticed that that makes really nice gray tones, which is good. Let's make this one black and white. Here's my white. All right. You guys, I'm so excited about this. This is fun. Not that the other things aren't fun, but this is something I haven't done, and I needed something new and exciting today. Okay, so now this, oh, okay, so this white is super, okay, that's very too much. But let's see what happens when you add too much. So this is an experiment also. So I'm going to smoosh it together. Boop, 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 boop. Ooh, that's going to take a while to dry. Let's see what we've got. Okay, that's interesting. There it is. And I can see how people could find some interesting messages in these things. All right, so yeah. Okay, let's do a big one. Let's do a, let me get this here. I'm using newspaper. Plastic is really good, but I have an overabundance of newspaper, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm using. All right, let's do a really colorful one now. But I'm going to try not to make as big of splotches. And it's just kind of whatever, because it's sort of like whatever you feel led to do is what's going to make the picture. And you don't try to plan it and say, ooh, I'm going to make a bird. Don't do that, because whatever you're doing is going to come out not probably the way you're intending. And if you want to do that, then just paint a picture, and that's cool too. Okay, I can see that I am actually making my blotches too big, so I'm going to know next time not to do that. Okay, and then we're gonna do, I can imagine people like flipping through this video like, what the heck? Okay, here's a little bit of purple. And sometimes it looks really, or not, sometimes it looks really cool to do the, oh, there we go, to do the just black and white ones. I love that. But sometimes it's also really cool to do the colored ones. All right, so let's, oh, I didn't add blue, did I? We don't need all the colors, but hey, let's just go for it, right? Okay. All right, so let's smush this one. Get these out of the way. And do this. Boop, 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 boop. And then there we go. Oh, that's interesting. These are coming out so cool. Ah, I'm loving them. All right, let me put this one over here. Okay. All right, so that is what I would do if I were making cloth ones. And then I'm going to put this here. Look at that. Okay. Now let's try some paper ones. Okay, so I am going to tell you right now that my skewer idea was not a good one. It might work well with thinner paints, but I think an eyedropper would be ideal. So I think that's where I'm headed next time I do this. I'm going to get some eyedroppers and see how that goes. All right, now I'm going to try the skewer with the inks because the ink is super duper thin, and we'll see how that goes. So let's do this. So now you can do, this is heavy sketch paper, so what, you know, okay. This is Canson XL, mixed media, multimedia, and it was, I do not know, I got it in 2014, so I have like no idea, but I do know that this paper is heavy enough. So this is the kind that actually has the perforation so that you can tear it out of the book, which is what I'm going to do right now. If I can, you know, I'm just going to cut it out of the book. Please don't tell anyone I'm using my fabric scissors to cut the paper. Oh, man, there's a day when I would hurt people for doing that. Not really hurt them, but, you know, I just get really pissy. Okay. All right, so here's the paper. Let's do ink this time. And we are going to use the skewers. So we got black, lots of black. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to attempt this messy magenta and see what happens. And we'll try the messy yellow and see what happens. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to use a skewer for each one. Now let's do magenta first. Oh, wait, no. Okay, so there's a little hole. I don't know if you can see the little hole. Maybe we could just do, let's see. Oh. Okay, so that's very loose. Yeah. Eee, it looks like blood. Okay, let me see. I've got an open black one here. That seems juicy. Okay, so I'm not feeling how this is going to work, friends. Let's take a look. Okay, so. Okay, and this is just getting drops here. Kind of loving the paint better. Okay, and this, yeah, this ink's going to be so thin. Okay, well, that's all right. We'll just give it a go and see what happens, right? This is an experiment. And if I do it and mess up, then you don't have to because you already know it's, like, not going to work. Okay, let's do that. Now, I'm going to do this way. I'm going to do this way. Ooh, and it's soaking big time through the back. And there we go. All right, so let's see how that baby looks. Okay, that looks pretty messy. I think you might still be able to get a picture out of that. Like here are two penguins kissing. There's some annoying bugs flying around. Okay, so you can still get ideas and pictures out of that. But another way I wanted to show you that was good, and you know what? I'm not really loving this ink. I think if I had eyedroppers, I would do more with this and it would come out better. But you know what? I'm going to put the ink aside for a moment, even though ink is the, like, ultimate thing. Like ink blots, right? How do you do ink blots without ink? But we're not going to because it's too loose and it's not doing what I want it to do. All right, so I do want to show you another thing you can do with the sketchbook, though. So what you can do is you find 2 pages that are, and this could be a little sketchbook, a big sketchbook, but again, make sure the paper isn't too, make sure the paper is not too thin because it will crinkle, okay? So let's do some black and white and see how that goes. And then I'll do a couple more cloth ones and see. I'm really loving this and I think it'll be really lots of fun. Okay, so I'm going to put okay, so this is very thick. Again, you need fairly thin paint because listen, you can really hear that sloshing around.